Hello, and welcome back to Sharing a Chapter a Day. This is Do, Ra, me, and today I will be reading Chapter 97 of Engagement in Peril by Dara, Odoe, Sok. Chapter 97 is titled The Catholic Whore Delilah and Shinshin Meets. September 11, 2006. Shinshin met Delilah on a brisk Monday morning. It was the CPG USD first day of California English Language Development Exam CEDE testing for the fall semester of 2006. Delilah arrived at Garfield Elementary to work several minutes ahead of the scheduled time, set at 8, and looked delightful that cursed morning. Thought it was Shinshin, though it was Shinshin's first time meeting her. He had heard about Delilah from her mother Lilith, who was on Cynthia's team, where he had subbed for several times throughout the summer testing session. Lilith had told Shinshin of Delilah's interest in Japanese art and animations, and that she, too, had attended this past July's anime convention in Anaheim, where Aaron, Shinshin, and I had attended. From hearing that news, Shinshin was sold on Lilith's only prodigal child, more likely hooked on and ready to be set up. Lilith spoke warmly of her only daughter. Her eyes seemed to glow while she told him of her daughter's interests, hobbies, and accolades. She told Shinshin this of her daughter because she had seen Shinshin's artwork of anime drawing and AMV anime music video on his refurbished government-issued IBM laptop, which he usually went on during work between gathering students to be tested. He was also using his laptop to keep a daily log and journal of his daily events and intrigues. His diary. Shinshin has worked with Lilith that previous year at Cabrillo High School, on the west side of town and such, and was where Lilith worked as an intermediate office assistant, IOA, which she assisted the testing team in grading the CEDE exam. So with warm appreciation, they talk about her daughter's fascination with Japanese anime and lifestyle. And Shinshin remembered thinking to himself that this would be that he would like to meet this lady's daughter, and with her mother's warm and loving description of her daughter, the two spent their lunchtime that day and the rest of the week at Grant Elementary speaking of this and that, mainly of her daughter's interests. Lilith told Shinshin that she also helped make her daughter's costume and such for this year's Anime Expo in Anaheim, California. Shinshin was being hooked in. And it turned out that Delilah had dressed up as Lulu, a magic-wielding witch from the Final Fantasy saga, who dresses in a long dark robe with lots of belts and buckles as decorative ornament, and who uses sorceries and magic to beat away and pummel her enemies. Lulu also carried around a magical teddy bear as a source of her magic, weapon, and sorcery. Lilith also had mentioned that her only daughter was born prematurely, several months premature to her actual due date, because it was really difficult for her and her late husband to conceive an infant, and she's glad that her daughter turned out to be healthy and all right, like she had turned out so far. Unknown to Shinshin then, Delilah's parents turned out to be blood-related siblings. Perhaps that's the reason why she was born prematurely, and it turned out the way she is. It turned out Delilah's parents were brothers and sister. But then again, who knows? The royal family does it too, to keep the royal blood within the direct family. More about their inbreeding mishaps later. Now back to how the ex-lover first met. The first morning of work, Delilah dressed in a below-the-knee white-red heart-striped patterned dress, with a long-sleeved white blouse, which presented her warmly and friendly. Her outfit sort of resembled that of a 1950 poodle dresses. She had a nice smile about her. Her smile caught Shinshin's attention, which got him to grin back to her way. Before they could make any conversation, the rest of the team members straggled into the assigned work and testing room at Garfield Elementary. Team 4. That was Shinshin's team assigned number. Shinshin team spent the morning introducing themselves to one another and filling out the booklet with the student's name and identification numbers and stigma to be tested for the particular school before they actually began testing students. Several testers already knew each other. Some were return testers, and most of them have heard of Shinshin's undeniable reputation and how he runs the team. Shinshin went over what he wanted from everyone and what they should expect from him. He passed out a sheet of paper to each of his plans and rules for giving the test. He also passed around a notebook for the tester to write down their full name, phone number, and email for their contact info and updates. He told everyone, "We are here to get the job done and get it done on time. It's important. We have a deadline to meet at every site we will be going to. We will get everything done correctly the first time, and we also will go over all our test book to make sure it's good to go before we leave each site. Thank you for coming to work, and let's begin our testing." Smilingly, he motioned with a grin and toward everyone there in the signed work and testing room. Delilah looked attractively nice that day, and Shinshin was glad that she's on his team. He felt pretty lucky that morning from what he saw. At first glance, Delilah looked somewhat like this actress Liv Tyler, the daughter of Steven Tyler, the lead singer of Aerosmith. Although Delilah was a bit heavier, more on the chubby side, and several inches shorter, she had a few similar features to the actress, mainly her facial bone structure of sorts and her button nose. Delilah had long flowing dark hair with hazel eye and several cute light brown freckles on and about her creamy face. She stood about 5'4" and weighed about 150 pounds, with ample 36B size bosom. It was by sheer luck that Delilah was placed on Shinshin's team, or may it be the dirty hands of fate. I can say now, Shinshin cursed the day that horrible bitch ever came into his life then on that first day of fall of 2006 CEDE testing. Personally, it's what I like to think. That's how Shinshin once healthy life came to an end. All because of that rotten bitch who ruined him and turned his once peaceful world upside down, which led to his painful death. That day they met, I think it was the beginning of the end of Shinshin's well-being then. And these past several weeks that they have worked together, Shinshin have grown fond of this girl. She's cute and easy to get along with, and at times they complemented each other well, just like peas and carrots, he thought at times. At that time, Shinshin can see himself being happy with this delightful person he had formed feelings for, so he had told me several times. So when the two found time to talk and such, usually during lunch, Shinshin found out that Lilith was Delilah's mother, and she told Shinshin that her mom had to take the bus to work because Lilith was still on Cynthia's team this fall. Shinshin thought about it over and over after work and decided to see what he can do to get both mother and daughter to work on the same team during the CEDE testing session that fall semester. Shinshin then called the CEDE coordinator Calvin and told him of the situation. Calvin didn't realize that the two were related because their last names were different, and that they never mentioned it to him either, and that they were related that he had spoken to them during the hiring process. Personally, I think Shinshin should have left well enough alone then, but no, he had to get all heroic. What a dumbass. Being nice isn't enough to get you anywhere, Shinshin, I thought to myself when he told me this. The coordinator told Shinshin to talk to Cynthia for the switch, and if she approved, he too will approve his request to unite the mother and daughter on the same testing team. That was Shinshin's second big mistake that year with those two conniving whore. His first blunder was during the summer testing when he made conversation with that whore of a mother, Lilith, at Grant Elementary in northern Cherry Pineapple Grove residential area then. With little hesitation, Shinshin called Cynthia and discussed the situation with her, and she understood, and eventually they came to an agreement and made the trade. For Lilith to be able to come to Shinshin's team, he had to give up a tester from his team. He decided on trading the only male tester he had on his team then to Cynthia's team. The next day, Shinshin told Delilah of what he had did. She seemed appreciative at first, and he also told Lilith of his dealing with her team leader at the time several days later. Soon after his dealing, both mother and daughter were on the Shinshin's team several days later, and now it's all good, or so Shinshin had thought. Shinshin could not have been more dead wrong. Shinshin was glad that he was able to get mother and daughter working together. That way they can carpool and save both the hassle of going to two separate places each day since they were doing the same job and the same testing. It was mainly for their convenience that Shinshin did what he did, and of course maybe he was thinking he was may get something nice in return from Delilah, and that's what he was hoping for that would happen in the long run. But he wasn't thinking straight then. He never thinks straight when it comes to deep, heartfelt feeling. That was Shinshin's kryptonite, his stupidity for the hope and luck of finding true love. Shinshin was a pessimist that way. Shinshin was a pessimist that way about love. Now, the job of a CEDE tester isn't too hard at all. It's repetitive and mundane at times. It is to travel it is to travel to various school sites during the summer and fall season to test minority students who are deemed test needed. And for every student that is tested throughout the state of California, each school district gets funding for their their English language learner program, and is based on the number of students tested. So it's a big deal for all school districts to test all students that are on their yearly list and roster for the state's CEDE test examination. The test consists of listening, speaking, and writing parts. Only the listening is given individually. The speaking and writing can be given in groups depending on the student's grades and age level. Besides giving the test personally to student, the tester also graded and recorded students' scores into a score log. Then the team leader carries and holds onto the master log and then later on turns it into the coordinators for record keeping for each school district. These CEDE testing sessions are temporary jobs for all testers, of which some testers are instructional aides and paraeducated in the school year, while others are IOA and others are college-age students. All are looking for an easy, temporary summer job and fall job that pays well, with flexible hours. The only requirement for this position was to have at least 60 college units and being able to read and speak English fluently. Team leader who runs the separate teams are substitute teachers who are hired by each school district as a substitute teacher licensed by the state. Just like Shinshin and myself, but as for Shinshin, he has been with CED testing since its inception way back when, too. He was a collegiate at CPG, Polytechnic High School. Shinshin had been working with CEDE testing since its induction in the year 2000, and he had climbed the rank accordingly. He was a terrific team leader with empathy, focus, and determination. His team was always punctual and accurate in all their testing, evaluation, and grading. His team was fun to be on, and he goes out of his way to make it fun and easy for his testers. So some have said that Shinchin was he too that he was too nice to his team member at a time. Cause of his positive attitude and fun work ethic, his team always finished their site ahead of schedule time and always had extra time to enjoy themselves at work, where they usually have weekly potlucks, usually on Friday, where everyone would participate and enjoy each other's homemade or store-bought food and dishes during those relaxed off days. Shinshin's attention to detail, overall enthusiasm, and ability to adapt to students of varying ages quickly earned him the trust and respect of many he worked with and for, especially those who are in charge of the testing and researching department. Shinshin also had some pull with the school district testing department and was able to bring people along with him when there are extra work and such, whether it's at the district warehouse or at the research office, doing easy and repetitive tasks like stuffing envelope with scores, result, or organizing test booklets for shipping and distributing to various sites. He would go out of his way for his co-workers and friends. He did as much for Delilah and her mother as he had done for those who he knew throughout their time working together as regard to getting the extra work and such. Only they only they and heaven knows what Shinshin had done had sacrificed for them. This is what Shinshin emailed me. This is what Shinshin had emailed me, some of his journal writing from his daily logs. Since I've met Delilah, I have been happy and I look forward to seeing her at work every day. I have fallen for this girl and I would love to get to know her more. Delilah and I seem to get along well. We have fun conversations and enjoy each other's company. I think her mom knows that I like her daughter, and she sometimes teasingly warned me not to hurt her only baby. And I told her that I won't. Every time Delilah's around, I get feeling that I can take on anything. She gets me all warm inside and makes me overjoyed within, and I hope she feels the same. Only time would tell, and I would tell Delilah that I like her. Okay, I more than like her. I'm the type of person that likes to let nature take its course and don't want to rush into things. So please, Mother Nature, do your bidding and pleading. Pretty please. Now the same pretty now that seemed pretty gay, even for the type of person Shinshin is. The way he wrote and talked about his feeling like that. Douchebag. Motherfucker. Even for a hardcore reconnaissance sailor marine like Shinshin was already in over his head. He didn't know the type of person Delilah really is. He didn't know anything about her past yet, and he hasn't mentioned her to me then. So I couldn't really warn him about what a conniving bitch she is. During their initial meeting that September, I had been fucking around with Delilah for several months earlier. I had met her at the University Starbucks cafe next to the Panda Express fast food restaurant on campus, and we got to talking, and we hit it off, and she agreed to go out, and from then on we were fucking like wild dogs. Weeks on, weeks off, of sort. That was our agreement. That was our arrangement. And I had graduated from the university several years back. But I go back there sometimes for my graduate classes and to pick up on dull, ignorant college student, of which come to mind was Delilah, who are easily manipulated with "I can help you with that," "I can help you with that assignment," and such, and tests and such. University a fun place to make contact and connection for fuck friends. Delilah and Shinshin usually spend their lunchtime together, chatting and discussing about their desires and aspirations. They like similar things and enjoy similar activity. Delilah had more knowledge than Shinshin of Japanese animation, computers, and other technological technological creation. Now this girl is really a computer geek, and she has shown him stuff he never knew before, like hentai websites and other anime pornographic websites. This girl was quite into anime porn. That's why she dresses the type at times. And on those days that they don't see each other, like on weekends, they usually text each other and chat online through Yahoo Chat and MSN Messenger. She was also reeling him in like her mother. Delilah enjoyed almost now. Delilah enjoyed almond milk tea from Quickly in Cerrito, and Shinshin enjoyed her company very much. It didn't matter what he drank or ate; all he wanted was just to be near her. She was his comfort zone then. Her mom was very apprehensive of their relations and friendship, and worried for her daughter's sake, and Shinshin could truly understand that. So from then on, they must be careful about sitting together at work and lessen their friendly chatter, and must not allow rumors to gossip spread about the work amongst the coworker. Shinshin agreed to be more careful with Delilah's per Lil's request of him and her when she approaches him. Shinshin really enjoyed being with Delilah, and he wanted more of those moments. Being together and sharing their pleasantry, Shinshin did his best at work to avoid conversation about their relations at work. He wanted to prevent any rumors that may arise. Several times while they were testing, there were talks of Delilah's ways of dressing and perhaps what type of girl she is by the members of his testing team. During one of those occasions while the team were testing at Patrick Henry Middle School, Delilah had been upset and ran off from the testing to cry in the teacher's lounge next door. And stupid as Shinshin was, he too ran off to console and comfort her, not realizing that he was being set up by her mother and daughter from the moment on. They had caught him in their conniving claws and sinister plans then. They were stringing him along slowly, and unknowingly and stupidly he fell for it. He was all caught up, and there was no way out of their web of deception. The incident at Patrick Henry Middle School, while testing, Delilah overheard several of the other testers laughing and talking about the way she dressed that day, and she got upset. Instead of confronting them, she took off and ran next door to the teacher's lounge to cry her eyes out. But what Shinshin didn't realize then was that it was her mother, Lilith, who started the rumor about her daughter to the other ladies and had pre-planned her daughter's behavior and action. She had her daughter pretend to run out and cry so that Shinshin would take her side and go off to console her daughter. Shinshin was so blinded to see what all that was happening to him because he was hooked on this girl, hooked all the way up to his ass over that bitch of a whore person. I wish I'd known then what was going on with Shinshin's love life, and what those horror plans were for him, and perhaps I would have warned him about those horrible, horrible, egotistic horrors of human beings then. After consoling and comforting Delilah in the teacher's lounge and talking things out with her mother, who too ran into the room to pretend to comfort her daughter to make sure Shinshin was hooked on their lies, Shinshin went back to the testing room, and he calmly reiterated about what he wanted from his team and staff. I need you guys to work together and be fair and understand each other's feelings. Not to talk about someone's behind their back, and the least to keep it to yourself. If you have nothing nice to say about someone, keep it to yourself, Shinshin reminded them. Shinshin was quite upset that day with his team, but kindly and forgiving like Shinshin always was, he calmed down, and the rest of the day went smoothly. From then on, very few rumors and talk were heard from anyone about anyone. The team still had a strong chemistry, and and had their usual potluck parties on Friday and was always punctual and accurate with their testing and grading for each school they were assigned and visited for Cherry Pineapple Grove Unified School District that season. That was how Shinshin and Delilah met then during the fall season of 2006 CEDE state testing for minority students in California. You see how nice and compassionate he was then for Delilah, her mother, and the rest of his testers on Team 4? That's just the way my beloved Shinshin was and always have been. Thank you for listening. This is the end of chapter 97. Be on the lookout for chapter 98, titled How Shinshin and I, the Christian Bastard, Met. This is Do, Ra, me, and I'll see you later. Thank you.